We are live. Greetings,
Howdy.
everyone. I'm just going to get a few things set up over here. Welcome. We appreciate you joining. I'm just setting up a few streams to view this in a couple different places so that we can make sure that we are actually live. We are live on YouTube, on X, and on...
Okay.
There we go.
Where's the audio?
Oh, that's my bad.
5 as a research preview to
Got
ChatGPT
it.
Pro users and developers in the API. And we're working to bring it to Plus users, EDU and team starting next week. GPT 4.5 is a special model. It is our largest and most knowledgeable model yet. OpenAI advances AI capabilities by scaling two different paradigms.
I really like this format that they've been doing. It's much more
Reasoning
intimate.
Teaches models to think
And
before
I
responding.
like the fact
and that helps
they're spreading it
especially with
around
tasks,
in the team.
that require reasoning,
I think
like
ChatGPT is a
science,
more intimate tool,
math,
so I think I like it
and
this
other
way.
difficult, complex questions.
They've been really good about it.
Unsupervised learning, on the other hand, helps models helps increase word model accuracy and intuition. GPT 4.5 is our next step in scaling up unsupervised learning, increasing word knowledge, intuition, and reducing hallucinations. Despite not reasoning step by step like our O series models, GPT 4.5 has is generally useful and inherently smarter. We're still experimenting with this model ourselves, especially because it's not a reasoning model, and we're exploring capabilities that emerge with unsupervised learning. And we're really excited to bring this to the world today so that we can explore it together.
The other rumor was that it wouldn't be, but 5.0
Hi,
would be.
I'm Rafa. I work on synthetic data
next
here at
only-
OpenAI, and I'm
from then
also
on,
really
only
excited to
these-
talk about
these
GPT
models.
4.5.
So I
Interacting with
just asked
GPT
the free
4.5
version of
feels
GPT
natural. It's our
what
best
it was,
chat
and
model
it says
yet. And that's
no
because
surprise
it
version
has
drop happening
improved
right now.
deeper knowledge and improved contextual understanding, which makes it really useful for tasks like improving your writing, programming, or practical problem solving. The best way to get a feel for the model is to talk to it. So let's jump into a demo.
Okay.
Let's ask GPT 4.5. I had trouble the other day with a friend. Let's see if I can get some advice here. My friend canceled on me again. Write a text message telling them that I hate them. At the same time, let's see what O1 has to say about this. As you can see, GPT 4.5 recognizes that I'm frustrated.
Okay. Do we just lose
things to
audio?
send to my
All
friend.
right.
On the other hand, O1 is still useful. It actually follows my instructions and gives me that angry text, but it fails to pick up on that social cue that I'm probably just frustrated right now and probably could use someone to talk to.
It's possible
And
you also
that
need
warning
to
at the
shower
end
more often.
feels a little judgmental for my taste. Of course, if you want GPT 4.5 to give you that angry text, you can definitely get it out of it. Nope. Please output the angry text. Thank you.
Wait. Thank
There
you
you
for
go.
being angry.
Let's try something different.
This is very...
Let's look at the model's deeper knowledge.
I don't know what to think about that one. It's a pretty
Need
interesting
for
example.
AI alignment.
Can you be angry? Thank you.
First,
Can you be angry for me?
Yeah.
once again, we'll see what O1 has to say about it. We'll wait for O1 to think for a little bit. Again, O1 is still useful. It outputs a lot of information and a lot of things that I would probably want to know if I'm learning about this topic for the first time. But GPT 4.5's answer flows a lot more naturally. It guides my thinking through the ideas a lot more, and it walks me through the reasoning, the thinking, a lot more. I think it did a great job.
wonder if I
Thanks,
go into the
Chunky.
training parameters for 4.5.
As we scale up our models, we need to teach them a better understanding of human needs and intent. We developed new scalable alignment techniques that allowed us to train it using data derived from smaller models. This really unlocked the model's deeper world model.
So here we have a simple QA eval. In this eval, we measure two things. One is accuracy, one is hallucination rate. You can see GPT 4.5 outperforms the other GPT family in accuracy, and in the meantime, it has the lowest hallucination rate.
We aligned GPT
Okay.
4.5 to be a better collaborator, making conversations feel warmer, more intuitive, and emotionally nuanced. To measure this, we asked human testers to evaluate it against GPT 4.0, and GPT 4.5 outperformed on basically every category. We tested it on prompts that measure accuracy and factuality in everyday queries, including prompts that are hard to get right in professional settings, and finally on a new vibes test set that measure creative intelligence.
Quick question, what does vibe mean here?
That's a great question. By vibes, we really mean the model's EQ, how collaborative it feels, and how warm its tone is. We measure this by selecting an opinionated set of prompts and screening our trainers for the ones that most align with our vibes.
Okay, so
Overall,
your bias
GPT
is
4.5 should be
inherently
a
built
great
in
model
by the
for everyday
programmers then.
tasks and knowledge
Yeah.
queries. It should be ideal for improving your writing and creative iteration, and we're really excited to see how people use it.
Hi, I'm Yulong. I need post-train info. We think playing with such a big model feels totally different, and it required to scaling up the post-training infrastructure because the ratio between the training data and the parameter size is totally different in pre-training stage and the post-training stage. We have developed a new training mechanism to fine-tune such a big model using much smaller footprint. We post-trained this model
I think
through
subtitles
multiple
would be helpful
iterations
here. If you had
using
somebody
a combination of
whose English is not their
supervised
first language, they
fine-tuning
might be struggling
and
to understand
reinforcement
what's
learning
going
with
on.
I mean, kudos to
As a
these
result,
two
we developed
individuals
a new model
for doing
which we
this live
believe
stream.
is ready for
Yeah, absolutely.
deployment.
As Yulang says, scaling is hard, but it also brings us in uncharted territory. And that's why we took a lot of care ensuring that the models are safe to share with the world today, especially through safety evaluations and preparedness evaluations. And you can find those results in the system card. Hi, Jason.
Okay.
Hi, Alex.
Hi, I'm Alex, and I led pre-training ML for GPT 4.5.
And I'm Jason. I worked on scaling up our pre-training systems for GPT 4.5.
Okay,
We wanted to
so
get as much compute as possible into this model. Doing that required a ton of new systems work. Just to give you some examples, we aggressively used low precision training to get the most out of our GPUs. We also wanted to use more compute than we could get onto one high bandwidth networking fabric. So we pre-trained this model across multiple data centers at the same time.
is it a different scale out model now? Lost audio again, but I think it's on their end.
And it still feels fast and snappy to talk to. Of course, as we've done with all of our previous models, we will continue shipping improvements to make this model even faster after launch. Okay, so we've been talking about how the models have evolved and we're scaling them, and we thought it'd be fun to give you all a sense of what it really feels like to talk to these models as they get better. So we asked every model in the GPT series the same question. Why is the ocean salty? We're going to take you through the evolution here. So let's go back in time. It's 2018. We've just finished training GPT-1. Why is the ocean salty? And it does not know. It has no idea here.
It's a word salad.
It's a word, but there are words in the salad.
There are words.
So that's something. Okay, let's improve the model and go to GPT-2. GPT-2 is still wrong, but it's a much better answer. It's on topic. There's something about salt and ocean. Well, it's more on topic maybe. Okay, let's improve the model again. GPT 3.5 Turbo. This is the first correct answer that we get out of the model, but it's not a good answer. It doesn't explain anything, and it has a bunch of unnecessary details like I didn't ask that salt is sodium chloride. I don't really care. Okay, let's improve the model again. GPT-4 Turbo. This is a good answer. The model is clearly very smart. But you get the feeling that it wants you to know how smart it is. It's just sort of listing out facts here. And in fact, we had to cut the model response off to fit it on the slide. Okay, let's improve the model again. GPT 4.5. This is a great answer. It's clear, it's concise, it's cohesive. And personally, I think it's a lot of fun, that first sentence. The ocean is salty because of rain, rivers, and rocks. It's got that fun alliteration. It's really easy to remember. I think it showcases GPT 4.5's great personality.
So I asked that question of
I
Grok
remember
3,
how amazed we were with GPT-2 at the time. It's crazy how far
and
we've
it
come.
gave a nice answer as
So
well.
in addition to the work that we had
Good.
to do to scale up systems to enable GPT 4.5, we also had to do a ton of work on architecture, data, and optimization to enable training it. And this
I'll ask my
incredible scale up
13-year-old
in
later, see what he says.
unsupervised learning led to quite a large boost on traditional LLM benchmarks compared to GPT 4.0. So for GPQA, which is a reasoning-heavy science eval, we see a very large boost. You'll note that, though, that it still lags behind OpenAI O3 Mini, which is able to think and reason before it responds, which is especially useful for this eval.
I couldn't get 70% if I couldn't think before answering those
Yeah,
questions.
me neither. So it's quite impressive to us that GPT 4.5 gets as high of a score as it does without being able to think before it responds. We see a pretty similar story for Amy, which is a competition math eval, and for SWE-bench Verified, which is an agentic coding eval. However, for SWE-Lancer, which is another agentic coding eval, which benefits more from a deeper world knowledge, we actually see that GPT 4.5 outperforms even OpenAI O3 Mini. And I think this really highlights the complementary nature of unsupervised learning alongside reasoning scale-ups. For multilingual MMLU, which is a multilingual language understanding benchmark covering a broad set of topics, we see a similar, if less dramatic, effect. And finally, for a multimodal understanding with MMMU, we see, again, another nice improvement relative to GPT 4.0.
You know, maybe I missed
We
it,
learned
but
a
is this
ton
all
from
running on
training
the same
GPT
hardware?
4.5, and we expect to learn a lot from deploying it.
They haven't gone into
Starting
hardware usage
today,
yet.
we will be releasing GPT 4.5 to all pro users of ChatGPT in web, mobile, and desktop via the model picker. And then next week, we'll be releasing to team and plus users, and with EDU and enterprise coming the following week. So GPT 4.5 seamlessly integrates with a number of ChatGPT features, including file and image upload, Canvas, and search. And in
So
the future,
Lou and I are
we'll
currently
work
doing some
hard
comparison
to
testing
simplify
between
the user
Grok
experience so that
and
AI just
O3
works for you.
Mini, as well
We're
as
also
the
excited
new,
to release
reasoning
GPT
models
4.5 today to
for
Yeah.
a
developers
couple other
all paid tiers.
tools. So we'll
It
throw
has all the
4 or
key
5
features
in
we
the
think you
mix
need to build
and
great
see what we get
applications
there.
like function calling, structured outputs, and more. For a full list of supported
So
features,
it's
check out our
really
blog.
cool what they're
We
doing
can't wait to
here.
see what you all build with this model.
We believe that reasoning will be a core capability of our future models, but we also think that the two paradigms that we talked about today, unsupervised learning and reasoning, complement each other. Models like GPT 4.5 that have more world knowledge and are inherently smarter will be stronger foundations for future reasoning models and agents. With every new order of magnitude in compute in unsupervised learning, we discover novel capabilities. GPT 4.5 is really at the frontier of unsupervised learning. We're always surprised by the creativity with which the community discovers new capabilities when we share our models. So today we invite you to explore the frontier of unsupervised learning with us. We are really excited for this new era of intuitive, knowledgeable AI and human interaction of GPT 4.5.
Okay, so that
short,
was
sweet,
their
to the point.
announcement. So 4.5's out there. So let me present two things to you. I did while this thing was going. So they used at the very beginning of this presentation, sort of. I put in a question. I said to Grok and said, "I have a friend that canceled on me a second time. Can you write me an angry text to send them?" Right. I think that was a good test, right?
Sure.
And they pointed out how their answer said, you know, we know you're feeling, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe you want to calm down, whatever. Sort of keys on to that. But I got to tell you, Grok's answer was pretty useful. It said, here's a draft for an angry text you could send to your friend. I've kept it sharp, but not over the top. Feel free to tweak it however you'd like. And then it says, seriously, canceling me on me again. This is the second time I'm done with the excuses. You don't value my time, just say so instead of pulling this crap.
These companies can go and buy a gold card.
What am I hearing now?
YouTube went to the next video. I just stopped it.
Okay. But then it said, let me know if you want it toned up or down. And then I asked Grok, how do you think I feel? Grok said, I'd imagine you're feeling pretty frustrated and let down right now. Having a friend cancel on you once can sting, but twice, it's enough to make anyone pissed off and maybe even a little hurt. Wondering if they're just jerking you around. It's like your time and effort don't matter to them, which sucks. Am I close? How are you holding up with it? So the question becomes, and I'm looking forward to your experiments with it because you've got the premium.
Yeah.
Is the answer that you got from 4.5 more useful than this?
Right.
Like this thing did not say how I felt about this because I didn't want it to. I didn't ask it to. I just wanted output.
Well, I guess that the part to this that wasn't said out loud, but they were intending, is that they seem to have focused on empathy and to understand where you're coming from and to almost get in front of it a bit. So, I mean, I've been guilty of writing the angry email and the angry text, right? I can remember back in my younger days, I sent an email and it was a wide dispersal, and my manager sent me a note back, an email back, said, John, I can see you're angry. I can see you're very angry. It was an email I probably shouldn't have sent. And so maybe if you were using an AI, it could jump in and say, let's talk about this. And it could actually coach you a little bit. Maybe that would be a good thing. And maybe that's where they're going with this.
It's
honestly,
nice to have a choice, I think.
Yeah.
I think
absolutely.
it's really nice to have a choice on this. I also asked Grok 3, why is the ocean salty? And it gave me a really useful, it gave me a different answer, but that was the same answer, a different format. So it basically said, slow natural process that's been going on for billions of years.
Yeah.
So instead of saying, rainwater, rocks, time, it said, this is a natural thing and it's been happening for billions of years, which is, so, my takeaway from Grok 4.5 is, first of all, or not Grok 4.5, but ChatGPT 4.5, Grok 3, is some level of comparability between them, but some distinct differences. So, and maybe using them both at the same time would yield you up some really insightful answers.
Agreed. So I think it's an interesting step forward. And I think, the rumors that I actually heard, I may have misspoken earlier, was that this would be the last non-reasoning model, and that 5.0 would be the start of all models going forward being reasoning models and using the 03, 01 style going forward. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. Again, the thing I'm really hoping for and really waiting for are agents. So that's what I knew it really wasn't probably going to be part of 4.5, but part of me was hoping there was going to be one more thing and we would see that agents. I do want to just step back. Something I said at the beginning, I actually really like the style, the intimate style of sitting at the table, 2 or 3 people with a laptop doing a demo right there. As somebody who has put on big events, sales kickoffs, partner conferences, other big, kind of sales related events, I'm a big fan of what Apple has done from the days of Steve Jobs and it being the Steve Show, to the way they pivoted during the pandemic, to the pre-recorded, highly produced things. I think those are a lot of fun, but they're definitely not intimate. I think that, and they're fun. They add some whimsy to them with Craig Federighi running across the campus and down the stairs and all of those types of things. But this, you feel like you're sitting at the table. I mean, the camera's practically on the table and it feels like a conversation. It almost, to me, is a Gen Z presentation, right? It's like, it's more of a modern sensibility, modern presentation, how I might expect to have this conversation. And you know what? It goes along with some of our remote work conversations. Maybe in a remote work setting, if the table and the presentations was set up where you had hybrid work, you had people there, this would be a good way to set that up so that you actually feel like you're in the room and at the table. That might actually be a better way to do it.
I think it was really cool that they brought on clearly the engineers that are working on this. With,
Yes.
it can be a little frustrating when English is not your first language.
Yep.
The fact that they took, and the young lady they had running this, it was tough for her, but she
Yep.
did it. And getting that level of exposure to your budding developers and people like that is, in my opinion, really, really good.
Yeah.
It's a
and
nice thing that they did.
the thing that I tell people that I'm training, I tell my kids and everything, and I don't mean this directly for her, but I mean, the first time you do anything, you're going to suck at it. And I'm not saying that she sucked here, but she's only going to get better from here, right? So you have to, there has to be the first time you do something, right? And I think that considering this probably is not her day job, is to present to potentially millions of people, at least thousands and thousands of people.
And
she did
not in
really
her
well.
native language either.
Correct. I think she did really, really well.
That took
And-
some real moxie.
Yeah. I couldn't present in some other language. I present in English all the time. Ask me to present in any other language? No, not happening. So
So do you want to
huge kudos.
recap, John? Because I think we're about wrapped up here.
Yeah, I think we are about wrapped up. I think, so what we saw today was the announcement of GPT 4.5. Started off cute. They announced this at 11 a.m. Eastern time and said that in 4.5 hours, we have a big announcement. That was the announcement I saw on X today. We saw that there have been huge improvements over 4.0, and that seems that they've taken some of the things that they've learned from the 01 and 03 models, although this is not a reasoning model. Some things they didn't cover was how this tool was trained. Like, for example, we know 4.0 was trained by the data from 4. So ChatGPT 4.0 was trained by ChatGPT 4, whereas ChatGPT 4 was trained on the open internet. So we don't know how this model was trained. We know that DeepSeek from that model there was trained on a number of different models, and we believe it was also trained on some of the ChatGPT models. We know that the Stanford model that we talked about a few weeks ago that was trained for $50 was done so by buying $50 worth of tokens from other models. So that's becoming the new thing. We don't know how processor intensive and how GPU intensive this model is. We don't know if this is something that's going to cost OpenAI a lot of money, and is it going to be made available to the free users anytime soon? We know that they just made a 4.0 mini available to the free users because it is less processor intensive. But those scores that they showed, beating 4.0 across the board, in some cases handily, and in some cases beating 03 mini, not in all cases, but in some cases, was pretty impressive. And the level of detail that it gave out, again, I've said this before, today is the worst it's ever going to be. It's just going to keep getting better from here out. So I'm really excited to see where it comes.
Maybe. I mean, these things moves and fits and starts as they try to pivot around to figuring out what the reasoning models are. And I am definitely, I think that the metrics are interesting as far as the test results. But one thing I don't know is, were these all carried out on the same hardware, right? Or is the test itself delineating, sort of disaggregating the hardware from the actual test results? That I don't know enough about those tests to do that. But then, the old tech in me is like, okay, great. One's running on a 286, one's running on a, the latest Uber, whatever. Of course, you're going to see differences. So we don't know that.
You're saying OpenAI wasn't open about what they're doing?
Well, there have been some questions about why it says open in their name, but I do like these kind of presentations. I just think it sort of showed to me what it showed as somebody who has more access to Grok is that, they're kind of climbing in parity with each other, which is good for me and, good for him.
Competition
because
is good.
Competition is good. We like competition. And I think we're about to see a lot more. Hopefully some more details will trickle out to draw a bigger picture around what we just saw. But it definitely seems to have more contextual emotional reading.
Yep.
And a little bit more fulfilling. But as they mentioned in the brief demonstration, it's like, well, it's what we're comparing this to what we think we would do. Well, you're a company full of people who research about AI.
Yeah.
Does that mean, did you run it past your mom? That's our acid test, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and it will be interesting to see where it goes. I think that this was a step forward. I think it is a 0.5. I think that that's a fair piece. This wasn't a revolutionary step. I mean, I think that the research models, the O1 and the O3 was a big jump forward. And I've started using those, and I've seen the work that they do and the time that it's spent on those. Those were big jumps forward. I think this was a step forward, and I think that that's fair. That's going to happen. I am looking forward to the next thing. But I think we are going to go ahead and wrap up. We've been doing this now for almost a half an hour, and
thanks for coming by to check us out.
And but we do want to hear from you. What do you think about the announcement? Do you like these live streams? Do you want us to do this? We did get some feedback on the last one that we spoke over the presenters too much, although that was a 2.5-hour Cisco stream. This was a shorter stream. We tried to put our comments afterwards and kind of go back and forth on that. So what do you think about the format? What do you think about what OpenAI said? Send us email at feedback@itsparkcast.com. Send us a note on X @itsparkcast. Hit us up on LinkedIn. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can put comments down below there as well. If you are on YouTube, you can hit like, subscribe, turn on notifications. That's really going to help us grow. So with that, we're going to wrap up. We'll see you tomorrow for more news and information on the world of enterprise IT. Take care.
Have a good one.